EA Sports. It's in the game.
Give you a
hear what they say, that Vinny Testaverde will be a bust for the Dallas Cowboys. The Anaheim Angels are the scariest team in the American League. That Serena Williams made a fashion blunder with her knee-high boots. But I, Max, say, wrong, wrong, wrong. PFC Kellerman reporting for duty, ma'am. Welcome back to my ongoing argument with the world. I've lined up opponents and handpicked the ref and judge. In Washington, D.C., it's ref and judge Bill Wolf. Wolf, set it up.
Max, today's battle is 12 rounds of argument, each round worth a point, which I will award impartially. And on the line, it's public humiliation, Max. We start, as always, with today's top sports news, including Chad Pennington's monstrous deal with the Jets, the monstrous climb by the Houston Astros, and, of course, the monstrous boots on Serena Williams. Representing the world in each sports argument for the first half of this fight in Boston, it's former Boston Globe columnist Michael Holley.
Hey, Max, no one in Boston is overreacting about the Red Sox. Look at this.
Then they're due for a monstrous letdown in Boston. I paused Michael using this button. This button pauses Bill Wolf. We call it an EVR. Wolf, first topic.
Round one. The Dallas Cowboys offense looked Monday night like Kellerman did on his grade school aptitude test. Brilliant in a meaningless setting. Old-timer Vinny Testaverde went 17 for 24 against a depleted Tennessee secondary. Keyshawn Johnson looked as good as he has since USC. On the other hand, Eddie George got nothing done behind the Dallas offensive line. And the world does not believe, Max, that Vinny Testaverde can lead the Cowboys deep into the NFL playoffs.
The last time Testaverde led a Bill Parcells team, Michael, they went to the AFC Championship game. Is that deep enough for you?
I'm so glad you said that, Max. You'll agree to this. The world has changed drastically since 1998, hasn't it?
Oh, yes.
What were you doing in 1998? What were you thinking in 1998? It's no comparison.
Brilliant things, Michael. Brilliant things.
I'm sure you're thinking brilliant things, but the fact is, they went to the AFC Championship then 6 years ago. Vinny Testaverde was a backup quarterback in New York. He lost his job to Chad Pennington. And now, Bill Parcells has convinced people that giving up the quarterback who led him to the playoffs last year is actually a good thing for the team. I'll buy it.
Quincy Carter has a ceiling that ain't that high, Michael. Vinny Testaverde, even at his ancient age, last year he got into 7 games. He threw for 7 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He played well when he played.
Look, Max, they're both backup quarterbacks in my opinion.
Yep.
Quincy's a backup and so is Vinny. But Vinny just happens to be over 40 years old, and at least Quincy
Vinny was
can
a
run.
backup to Chad Pennington, Michael.
He's not mobile anymore. He's not even a
Max
threat.
is going to win that argument about Vinny Testaverde. If the Cowboys make the playoffs and go deep, it'll be on defense. If they lose, it won't be because of Vinny Testaverde.
Next topic.
Round 2. There are lots of stupid ways to spend a lot of money in New York City. For Kellerman, it's limo rides to the corner in search of diamond-embedded tube socks.
I need it.
Called the Tiger's Eye. Jets quarterback Chad Pennington will soon have cash to burn as the New York Post reports that the team and its franchise player are close to a contract extension which would guarantee him between $22 and $25 million, the second richest guarantee in NFL history. And the world believes, Max, that Pennington's not worth the money.
How quickly people forget, Michael. Chad Pennington was hurt for a while last year. But the year before, when he became the starter and sent Testaverde to the bench, he had the highest QB rating in the NFL. The Jets won the division, and he totally outplayed Peyton Manning in the first round of the playoffs as his Jets beat the Colts 41-zip.
Won the division, 3-way tie for first. They're all 9-7. Look, don't get me wrong. I like Chad Pennington. I think he's a good quarterback, and it's not his fault that Terry Bradway wants to overpay him, and that's exactly what's going to happen. What has he done, Max? He's won a playoff game. Essentially, he's won a playoff game. Why is that worth a lot of money?
Listen, who's the guy he's most often compared to in the NFL right now, Michael? Who is it? Tom Brady is the guy.
Tom Brady?
Yes.
I can see why you would compare them. They both have one syllable in their first name. They both went to colleges that begin with M, but there's no comparison to a two-time
mistake-free quarterback. Look, the Patriots are better than the Jets, Michael.
Look,
it's not the quarterback position where they're really outshining the Jets. It's a lot of other areas, especially the defense.
The avenue is littered with the next Tom Brady. Tom Brady's all the way. But you know what? Not many people have 2 Super Bowl MVPs in their closets, and that's what Tom Brady has. There's no comparison at all.
Michael wins the argument. Max, you should know this. Every team in the NFL plays a version of Moneyball. And when you pay that big for a quarterback, you're costing yourself in other places when you can win it with Trent Dilfer. That's been proven.
They're underpaid in the NFL. That's what this really says. Next topic.
Round 3. There's a collision in the rearview mirrors of the Yankees and the A's, and it ain't Max Kellerman cutting off an old lady. Well, it certainly might be. It's the AL's 2 hottest teams, Boston and Anaheim, meeting for 3 at Fenway starting Tuesday night. The Angels are 19-7 in August, 2 games back of Oakland in the West, a game and a half behind the Bo Sox for the wild card. The Red Sox are 20-7 for the month and just 4.5 back of the Yanks, Max. And the world believes that this series is more important to Anaheim than it is to Boston.
The Boston Red Sox have, other than the New York Yankees, by far the highest payroll in Major League Baseball. And after that crushing Game 7 extra inning walk-off home run loss to, it's on the tip of my tongue. Who'd they lose to again last year? Oh, that's right, the Yankees. When it comes to any question about pressure to make the postseason, the answer is always the pressure's on the Red Sox.
Well, I'd say pressure to make the postseason. I'd agree with you there. They have to make the postseason, or I think Terry Francona is out, and it'll be a disaster season. But right now, in this series, the Red Sox have the wild card lead, so it's no pressure to win 2 out of 3 here. Anaheim absolutely has to win 2 out of 3, or they'll fall out of the playoff race altogether.
No, look, Anaheim is not as good a team as Boston. They did not go into this season with quite as high expectations. Vladimir Guerrero has incredible, especially in the beginning of the year, had been carrying them. But the Red Sox, Michael, have to make the playoffs. It's an absolute mandate. They must be in the postseason.
Yeah, they have to make the playoffs. And I think this is also an important series for Anaheim, too, because they play very well on the road. That was one of the Red Sox problems early in the season. I think they're about 10 games over 500 on the road. If they can go in there into Boston tonight, come here tonight, and beat Curt Schilling, that'll be a huge statement for them.
Especially that huge drought they've gone through out the World Series
argument. It's more important for Anaheim because they don't have the lead. If Boston sweeps them, they're done in the wild card. And also, I disagree with you, Max. Anaheim is about as good as Boston, and there were high expectations.
Yeah, actually, the record disagrees with you. Next topic.
Round 4. As it is for Kellerman's fiancée, time is running short for the Houston Astros. Poor kids. Having flopped their way to mid-season irrelevance, the Stros won their 12th game in 15 starts Monday night to remain just 4 games back in the National League wildcard race. They're doing it without Andy Pettitte and a bullpen made thin by the trade of Octavio Dotel for Carlos Beltran. But Roger Clemens and Roy Oswalt have carried them close, and the world believes, Max, that the Astros can win the NL wildcard.
These Astros are not the same guys I picked to win the division, Michael. Top flight starters Andy Pettitte and Wade Miller are down with injury, and the rate of future Hall of Famer Jeff Bagwell's decline has sped up. They're 4 games out of the wild card, and I don't see them catching up.
No, they're not the same team. You know why they're not the same team? Because they have a different manager. And as I predicted, I told you, Jimmy Williams has got to go. If Jimmy Williams goes, they can get right back in the race. That's what happened. Phil Garner has turned them around. And yes, maybe they don't have all the parts they had, but they still have Roger Clemens, the ace of the staff. And
you know who else? Well, first of all, Brad Lidge in the bullpen has been better, at least as good as Billy Wagner ever was, and better than Dotel. You know who else really deserves a lot of credit, who doesn't get it? Roy Oswalt. Everyone always talks about him in terms of potential. But in fact, look at the record. He's as good just about as any pitcher in baseball over the last 4 years.
Oh, I tell you, 2 guys they don't miss at all. They don't miss Richard Hidalgo because they basically replaced him with Carlos Beltran. And they don't miss Dotel. Dotel has struggled in Oakland. You predicted he'd be some shutdown closer, and that hasn't happened.
Dotel is I never said shut down. He's a good closer, and Hidalgo was inconsistent,
the Astros
but he was a major
are
leaguer.
A threat, but Max wins the argument. The problem is Chicago, San Francisco, San Diego, and the Florida Marlins. The Astros have to be better than all of them. I don't think they're going to make it.
Oh, that's fascinating, Bill. We hook up Bill Wolf to the lie detector after a commercial break. Wolf, spit out something without stumbling for once.
Yeah, but okay. Well, coming up, Donovan McNabb has heard enough about his passing skills. Is he accurate enough to win it all? As well as, is the late summer heat wave in New York the result of Serena Williams wearing her boots knee-high? Max?
IMAX on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealers.
Nissan Altima.
Time to hook up Bill Wolf to the lie detector. Michael Holley and I have to decide whether our hairy captive is lying or telling the truth. Hey, Wolf, I heard you just got out of solitary. Now, how do you wind up in the hole in the first place?
Oh, dress code things. Who knew lace wasn't allowed, Max? Word around here is that the Philadelphia Eagles welcomed Hugh Douglas back to their defense today. Douglas once led the league in sacks for Philly, but he'd been cut by Jacksonville. Across the line of scrimmage, meanwhile, Donovan McNabb protested to the media that criticism of his passing is unwarranted because winning percentage is the key quarterback stat, and his is the best in the league for guys with at least 60 starts. The statement in question, the Eagles' offense will be better this year than the Eagles' defense.
That's a lie. I love Donovan McNabb, but what he should have said is, criticism is unwarranted because I don't have a lot of help on offense. Now, compare that to the defense, Max. They got a great coordinator in Jim Johnson. They got Javon Curse.
Yep.
Hugh Douglas back as a backup, probably. Corey Simon, Michael Lewis. I could go on.
They have an excellent defense, but he's telling the truth, and maybe just barely. Look, it's going to be close, Michael, but right, McNabb has never had a lot of help on offense until this year. You neglected to mention he has one of the best receivers in football, Terrell Owens, to throw to. And Donovan McNabb has the second lowest interception percentage in the history of the NFL. Fewer than 50 picks in over 2,100 attempts, Michael.
He's got Terrell Owens to throw to, but who's going to run the ball for him? He's there. He's the
Shawn
threat in the running
Andrews,
game.
their top draft pick, a beast in camp.
Oh, you don't even know where he went to school. Where did he go to school?
Do you know where he went to school, Max?
Arkansas, born on Christmas Day.
Whoa,
How do you know that?
Nice. But I was lying. The defense is going to be much, much better. They have great safeties, and they're returning guys on the defensive line, Derek Burgess and Hollis Thomas from Sumner High School, St. Louis, Missouri. I like the defense.
Next topic.
Word around here is that Washington coach Joe Gibbs has named veteran lefty Mark Brunell his starting quarterback over young Patrick Ramsey. Brunell got an $8.6 million bonus to leave Jacksonville, where he once led the Jags to the AFC Championship game, but spent much of last season on the bench behind their quarterback of the future, Byron Leftwich. And the statement in question, Mark Brunell will have a better year than Byron Leftwich.
That's a lie, and you just said why. Byron Leftwich took his job, Michael. You think they gave it to Leftwich because he was worse?
He's telling the truth, and yes, they did give it to Leftwich. It was dirty management tricks.
Oh.
They drafted the guy, first-round pick. They had to justify the pick. They took Mark Brunell's job away. Brunell is an excellent quarterback. He's going to be playing with a very good running back in Clinton Portis, receiver in Laverne Colt, and, of course, the best coach in the world,
Is
Joe
Fred
Gibbs.
Taylor a very good running back? Is Fred Taylor a very good running back?
Fred Taylor's excellent when he stays healthy.
Byron Leftwich. Wait, first of all, speaking of healthy, I shook Brunell's hand the other day. He had to go see the team doctor, Michael. You want to bring up health? Byron Leftwich is as tough as nails. He plays through all kinds of injuries.
This is a very tough question, but in my heart and in my mind, I was lying, and it is a health question. Leftwich has to get his mechanics down, but the Washington offensive line is no good. Leftwich will be healthier, Michael.
Leftwich born January 14th. Next time.
Word around here is that fashion plate Serena Williams donned go-go boots during her first-round pre-match warm-up on day one of the U.S. Open. Along with a denim jacket, the look was described as a cross between biker chick and schoolgirl. Serena lost the fashion in favor of more traditional togs, then easily won her opening match in straight sets. The statement in question, the boots and jean jacket constitute a good look on Serena Williams.
That's a lie, and I gotta say something about Serena here. Serena Williams used to be, especially in that volleyball get-up in that Nike commercial, she was the hottest ever. I mean, it's unbelievable. In the last year, her looks have fallen off so hard.
Oh, please.
She looks like a man, baby.
Oh,
yeah.
Stop it.
He's telling the truth, and I'm going to take the high road here and say she is a great athlete, and she should be recognized for her athletic ability. Now, I will say this. Thigh-high anything, I don't have a problem with it. Are you kidding me, Max?
Because thigh-high to you comes up exactly to your line of vision. Serena Williams looks like the kind of biker chick who would put you on the back of her motorcycle, Michael. That's why I like it.
I'm afraid I was lying. I agree with you about thigh-highs, Michael, but Serena, the denim jacket, how about a little leather?
That's a good point. Look, she needs to take off about 10, 15 pounds of muscle, Wolf.
Be a
She's
gentleman.
not too masculine looking. Time to take on yet another comer. Wolf, who dares tangle with me, the devil's advocate?
Well, coming up, how's Jeff Bagwell feeling with his Astros just 4 games back of a wild card tie? Max?
Time for me to play devil's advocate. Wolf, who's going to try to catch up to my heat today?
Oh, a good one, Max. You're up 4-3 and now representing the world. One of the most feared hitters in baseball for the last decade. From the red-hot and dangerous Houston Astros, it's Jeff Bagwell, Max.
Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Good to be here, Max.
You are, well, you didn't say that like you meant it, but okay, I'll take it. You are the best first baseman of your era. You're a future Hall of Famer, but this year, your decline has continued. You're an older guy now. It's not 10 years ago. What kind of adjustments have you had to make this year, physically?
Well, a lot. I got a bum shoulder, which doesn't help. You're right, I am getting older. So you have to make adjustments constantly in this game because people are making adjustments to you. It's not the same game as it was when I came in 14 years ago. Pitchers used to throw 91. They were throwing hard back then. And now they're throwing 97 with sink. So it's definitely a different game.
And what particular adjustments have you had to make?
Well, I really had to. My timing's kind of off. You know, I see the ball and I go to do everything that I want to do, but my bat head doesn't get there. So I got to get it going a little earlier. I got to get back on my back leg a little bit more pressure on my back leg, so I can get that bat head out in front.
But you have been on fire recently, so those things seem to be clicking now.
Yeah, well, I had a good series. You figure after 5 months, I could probably put together 4 good games.
All right, going into this season, I, like a lot of other people, really liked Houston to win the division. In a very tough NL Central, you look at that roster, you figure these guys are the class of the division. What's happened?
Well, a lot of things have happened. We've had some, our offense has had a lot of problems this year. We haven't stayed consistent. We went through a period of about 2.5 months where it seemed like everybody was kind of cold. We just couldn't get anything going, and that was tough. You know, when we started the season, we figured that we were going to win with our starting rotation. It was going to be Oswalt, Pettit, Clemens, and Miller, and Tim Redding. And as everybody knows, Andy's had season-ending elbow surgery. Wade's been on the shelf for 2 months and probably won't pitch again this year. Tim Redding's in the minor leagues right now, so things have not kind of gone the way we planned it.
Without Wagner and Dotel in the bullpen, you guys looked a little thin, but Lidge has been lights out. What's that been like watching this guy pitch?
He's been great. You know, his career in the minor leagues was a little short because of some injuries to his arm. He wasn't able to pitch as much, but since he's gotten our bullpen, he was in the 7th inning for us last year, lights out before Dotel and Wagner. Made the transition when we traded Dotel to the Athletics and became our closer, and he's dominating. He's amazing to watch out there. You know, even if he's in a bad situation, he can still strike out 3 guys in a row. So he's been a great surprise for us.
And with him back there at the end of the bullpen and Carlos Beltran in center field, you guys are only 4 games out of the wild card. What are you guys going to need to do to catch those other teams in front of you?
Well, we're going to have to continue to play the way we've played right now. We need to score some runs, play good, solid, fundamental baseball. And most importantly, we got to have the teams in front of us lose some games. We're done with the Cubs. We did what we had to do when we were there. We won 3 out of 4, but you know there's still 4 games in front of us. So we're going to have to hope for some other teams to win and continue the good play that we've had.
Okay, Jeff, you've been very political and straight down the middle of the line so far in this interview. Make a prediction. Are you guys going to win the wild card?
Well, I have to say yes. I mean, I have to believe that in my heart. So I'm going to say yes.
That's it. Yes, you're going to win the wild card.
Yeah, I have to. What else can I say? I can't say no. We believe that we still have an opportunity, and hopefully we can continue to play we've been playing. We're going to have a chance.
So Jeff Bagwell guarantees the playoffs for Houston because none of the other teams in the wild card race are any good.
I wouldn't say that.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
You got it, Max.
You heard it, Wolf. I got him to go out on a limb. He guaranteed victory for the Astros. I win.
Quit making stuff up. You know, if you'd ever swung a bat, you'd know how interesting those adjustments Jeff Bagwell described are. Jeff Bagwell wins one for the world and ties it up at 4, Max.
Yeah. No.
I'm about to take you, the viewer, on next in the knockout round. All right, Wolf, let me hear it.
Well, coming up, Charles Woodson is finally in Raiders camp. Does Oakland have football's #1 cover guy? Max?
Okay, America, it's the knockout round. If you beat me, Bill Wolf reads my hate mail. But if I win, Wolf has to read an email extolling my virtues. Wolf, you're the judge. What do you have to say?
Virtues, Max? You tied 4-4. Keep it going.
Michael?
I'm surprised that cackle of yours hasn't run the Republicans out of New York already.
All right. To email me, log on to foxsports.com on MSN, keyword I, comma, Max. That's all it would take. You better worry about the Republican platform on dental plans, Michael. That's what you need to worry about. Ricky in Phoenix writes,
You're mean.
Thanks to his holdout, Charles Woodson won't start in week 1. With or without him, The Raiders are back, and they'll win the AFC West. No, the Raiders are better, and they'll contend in the AFC West.
But the brilliant Sam Kellerman says they'll win the Super Bowl.
Jay in Lafayette, California writes, the A's have won 7 straight. With their pitching, they're better suited to go to the World Series than anyone in the AL West, I assume.
Wait a minute. Rich Harden, Mark Mulder.
The Yankees. Mickey in Queens, New York writes, Chipper Jones named his son Shea because he's been good at Shea Stadium. That kid is lucky to carry the name of a baseball shrine. Yeah, a shrine to mediocrity and underachievement, maybe.
Cruel but true. The world's on the ropes, Max.
Lucky in Chicago writes, Burger King has broken off talks with Paris Hilton to make her their spokesperson. I'd definitely buy a Whopper from her. And I'd buy a Whopper for her. A double with cheese. Eat something, Paris.
You know what?
Eat
You're
something.
right. She's too skinny, and that makes you a winner, Max. You know, you're looking out for Paris Hilton. I know she appreciates it.
I know you're a boxing fan, but you need heavyweights in your love life, too?
Michael, one day you'll be at the age where you're interested in women, and when you are, you're going to want them with some meat on their bones. All right, Wolf, shower me with love.
Well, you won, Max. And Christian in Charlotte, North Carolina writes, quote, Max, I've enjoyed watching you on your fine program. Michael Holley looks like a man perpetually stuck in prepubescence.
What'd I tell you?
Bill Wolf's hairline is like the French surrendering to Germany, but instead of running from the Germans, his hair is running from his ugly face. Keep up the good work, Max. Someone on the show has to. End quote. The French? It's a little gratuitous, Christian.
The winner who doesn't run from that ugly face. That's going to do it for my co-host Michael Holley and the ugly Bill Wolf. I'm Max. Tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. and late night for more of me. 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m.
That's right.
Hey,
Got
Max,
nothing to
I know a
do.
nice
You're
girl.
tough guy.
I know a nice girl down the street. She's only 250 pounds, though. A little too light for it.
Still on his feet.